5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, StarCraft fans, everyone around the world listening to this. All about 487 of you, I will guess. Welcome to set 2 of STX versus SKT1. SKT1 up one match on STX. Best having taken down Frozian. Kind of saw it coming. Best, you know, a little bit of slumper, but regardless, I would have to say he is better than Frozian. Maybe not the best, but he's better than Frozian. Anyways, we have Hero here versus Bisu. Bisu in the bottom left-hand position. Our blue Protoss player and our orange Zerg player is going to be Hero. Both of these players, I have to say, are freaking amazing. Bisu never really slumping, maybe for like a game or two. I've heard the words slump and Bisu used in the same sentence before, and it was because of like one game or something like that. But anyways, Bisu just came back from the WCG finals as well. And I know he had a little bit of trouble with some of the players there, some of the foreign players even, which could mean one of two things. One, it could mean that Bisu is not playing that great, which I don't think it is because I like to be optimistic, and I'm going to say that it is the second option, 12 hatch by the way, going down for Hero, the second option that the foreign players are becoming badass, okay? Super badass, and we have some probe harass here going on across his drone. Holy crap, could Bisu get the drone kill? It looks like he might. Just one more hit left on that drone. However, it's being fought off. That probe is being fought off by this other drone here. Hero doing some interesting defense here, but it looks like, oh, and he does get the drone kill. Not necessarily that huge of a deal. This early on is a lot bigger than late game. However, that's going to be just a huge motivational boost for Bisu. I think he knew he was going to get it off. If you saw how dedicated he was to that probe was moving around so quickly. Holy crap! And he is slowing down the natural from going up here. So no expansion yet for the Zerg player here. However, on this map, Fighting Spirit, by the way, which I do know, I have played on this map before. And I actually have played a Zerg versus Protoss on this map. There is your third base, which is just as easily defended, I'm gonna have to say, as your secondary. Maybe not specifically as easy, but it's not that bad. You can take it as your second base and just throw down your natural later on if the probe does harass you, as Bisu's doing here. Which, by the way, I do have to say, Bisu got extremely lucky having got off that scout so nicely, so quickly, having found him first. But yeah, this map is very open to taking that third base. I do expect, yeah, there we go. I was going to say, I do expect Hero to go for some kind of at least a 3-base build because that second natural is so easy to take. He is sending out a drone. I'm not sure where he's going with it. Maybe he's looking to take the main in the other starting position. That's a possibility as well. No, he's taking the natural, which is an interesting choice, I have to say, because that also opens him up to being harassed. You can go through, you can move your forces through. By the way, there are Zerglings out in the field. I'm sorry, I'm not commentating on what's on screen here. There are Zerglings chasing around this probe scout. Not anything too special. Bisu did go for the Forge Fast expand. He's got his 2 cannons up. He's got his Nexus up. And I'm assuming by this point in time he does have his gateway up. But anyways, like I was saying, you can, as a Protoss player, move your forces through the third base and into down, from these positions down and left to Hero's natural, which gives you 2 attacking avenues, and that really is not a very enviable position for the Zerg player to be in, because you do not want to be getting attacked from 2 fronts where the Protoss forces can just collide and mass up together. It's really not a really effective way to be doing things as a Zerg player. And it looks like this probe scout is going to get into the base here. Let's see if he gets up that ramp. No, it looks like a drone is coming off the line here. It doesn't have it blocked. No, he does not have it blocked. I hate that. You cannot, you can't always pull that one off. Layer is coming up here, so Bisu is going to see that this layer is up. I don't think Bisu has, however, seen the third base for Hero, so But however, I do think that he expects that it's up. However, I also think that he expects that it's up in that like I was saying, that easily defendable natural position. As I do see a Zealot coming out in the field here. Now he's going to go back home. He sees that there are enough Zerglings out in the field to deal with this. The Probe Scout actually going down a little bit earlier than I would have expected, especially somebody like Bisu to allow it to go down. It looks like that Stargate is coming up. We're going to have to see if DTs are Bisu's follow-up option to this. Bisu, of course, being known for that Bisu build with the DTs and Corsairs. Not to mention, it's an extremely effective build. I mean, nobody's doing it anymore these days, but I think it's effective. And it looks like that Overlord is going to get picked off by a Dragoon. From that single gateway, Bisu's still on one gateway. So, yeah, that one Dragoon is maybe... No, he's not going to be able to pick it off. However, that Corsair to follow up is definitely going to come in and slap that Overlord around. Not going to allow it to live for much longer. So, Bisu content to just sit in his base, sit on those two bases and just macro up. Yeah, it looks like he is going. No robotics facility, so it's not going to be it's definitely not going to be one of those semi old school Corsair Reaver builds, which I honestly is my favorite build to watch as a even as a Zerg player. I love watching the Zerg lose to a Corsair Reaver build. And it looks like a small little force here, contingency force, just going out. I think he's actually hunting down that Overlord, to be completely honest with you. This kind of reminds me of excuse me, it reminds me of Warcraft 3, where you're just using like little small patches of units, and it was like he was trying to pick off the hero unit there, which barely escaped with his life. But regardless, he does pick off that Overlord with that Corsair. I don't think that's the way he wanted to do it. He might have wanted to get that scout in that extra second earlier, but perhaps not. The Spire is up, so he is going to see the Spire coming up. 5 hatcheries are up, so this is definitely going to be that 5 hatch build that excuse me, that we've been seeing Zergs do a ton lately for the longest time. Not even, I mean, they've been doing it because of Corsair Reaver, and they just haven't stopped doing it. And it looks like Hero is going to set up a Simsida! So, so he's going to set that up in his main, or his natural there, as well as his third base. I loves the Sim City. I loves it. Another Overlord also going to get picked off here, but Corsair going down. So I think he's willing to take that trade, and Scourge now chasing down that second Corsair. Really good play there from Hero, picking that off, catching Bisu a little bit off guard. I think a little bit careless, but on Bisu's part as well. However, that was also really good timing on Hero's part. So taking that on that Corsair, making sure that Bisu doesn't get that critical mass of Corsairs that you really just never ever want to see as a Protoss player. Yeah, so, and it also looks like Hero's taking a 4th base. He's going to Simsid up at that natural at the top right position, and he's going to take the main base. So he's going to be completely defended on the ground from those 2 positions, which is why Corsair Reaver is such a good build. Bisu, why don't you just switch it up right now? Come on now. You can Corsair Reaver. Come on, do it. You can hit that expansion up there. Anyways, so I think Bisu is he's getting some cannons in his main, just prepping himself for a possible Mutalisk Kratz, which is why this build I think is so effective, and which is why Zergs are still doing it. Whoa, a big Zealot force coming in here, going to try to pick off these Zerglings and these drones, but these drones just jamming up. These drones sim-citying themselves as well, just blocking off that sunken colony. But I think this is going to be this is an effective defense, killing off a lot of Zealots, only 4 of them getting into the main there. We're going to have to see if he's able to defend against this. 2 drones going down in the main, and all the drones having to come off of gas. However, with the 4 bases up now, I do see that there is creep coming off that base in the top right, but it looks like he's going to try to take down the Spire. No, a lot of Zerglings up here to reinforce, so I think he's going to be completely fine. These drones not coming in also to defend, but I do think that with these 4 bases, he's going to be completely fine to be denied mining for a little bit. It looks like Bisu also might be considering possibly taking that 9 o'clock position. We're going to see what he does there. These Zealots just getting cleaned up right here. I think he's just going in for one final scout, possibly to looking to pick off another drone, or just to be annoying and just keep that Zealot alive. Maybe recharge some shields, take down a Zergling or 2, maybe a drone or something like that. But not going to happen. A lot of drones out in the field. By the way, I do want to point out that only Zerglings have been produced, and I think he's probably got like maybe 4 times the amount of drones produced as Zerglings, and it looks like a Zergling attack coming in here now. Going to try to take down these cannons. No upgrades on those Zerglings. I don't even think speed is upgraded for those Zerglings. Yeah, speed actually is upgraded, and now he's going to start focus firing down that Nexus. However, there are just a couple Zealots going to come in here, try to clean this up. Just enough, just the right number. Bisu always finding that right number to always just barely come out ahead there, cleaning up those Zerglings just scarcely, barely getting away with that one is Bisu. But anyways, so he cleans that up, overpower dominates, and now he's going for that drone transfer, or the probe transfer. The Zerglings are not going to do anything to those drones. They're clumped up really nicely, and not to mention, oh yeah, there's a couple of Zealots, Zealots just chilling around, ready to pick those off. And anyways, so now Bisu does have that 3rd established, whereas Hero has a 4th. Bisu actually doing the right thing here, because what usually happens to the Protoss player, and I do have to commend Bisu on being able to adapt to this build here from coming out of the Zerg player, and holy crap, nice sim CD, I have to compliment him on this, is usually you see Protosses just sit back on 2 bases, macro up, and they have to deal with this massive force and this massive defense of the Zerg player, and it's just... It's never effective. It just never works. Sometimes. I mean, sometimes it does, but you really want to be on 3 bases to take down a 4 base or even just a 5 hatch Hydralisk going